In terms of gender representation, some might say that I've been slightly stereotypical by making the psycho male and the victim female due to the strength of males versus females. However, I thought that it was important to represent the two characters fairly but still make it clear that Aoife is the innocent protagonist. I mentioned earlier about Helmut Nichols' black hats, white hats theory, and that I put Aoife in a white shirt. White has connotations of innocence, purity and cleanliness, which is how I would describe her character. When I paired that with her blonde wavy hair, her character could be portrayed as quite an angelic figure, therefore the murder of her is made more shocking to the audience. This is because she didn't deserve it. As well as the white shirt, I put her in a red coat as it has connotations of danger, violence and death, all of which feature in my opening. I represented her character in a way that made her look weak by using high-angled camera shots that look down on her and make her appear inferior. At the outset, I did want to experiment with the concept of the femme fatale, but after my primary audience research told me that a small percentage of people wanted this type of character, I decided to focus on other character types like the psycho and the victim. However, this could have been a good character for me to include because of the explicit ways that I could have represented her. Following the gender representation route and Helmut Nichols' theory, I decided to put the masked murderer in all black except for the white mask. This is because black has connotations of mystery, endlessness and secrecy, which gave the audience the perception that the masked murderer is a psychotic character. The reason that I chose to use a white mask as opposed to a black one was to create a twisted perception of his character due to the initial fake kindness that he would show his victims before killing them. It's obvious that this perception is twisted in my thriller opening, as he says "run" straight away, which isn't conveying kindness at all. The psychotic danger is further shown when he is carelessly stroking the knife. This really represented his true evilness, as he seemed to be handling the knife in a familiar way, touching the ridges as if it was second nature. It could be suggested that I have represented the working class in quite a negative way due to my use of the Daily Mail as a newspaper. I use this newspaper because the stories aren't often politically or ethically correct, and they sometimes use facts which aren't quite realistic. The paper is a tabloid paper that disguises itself as a broadsheet. This could possibly reflect the way that the masked murderer is an evil character who disguises himself as a good character, which is implied through the use of a white mask. So it could be said that if the masked murderer was to buy the Daily Mail, because it's him that's cutting it up, that he could class himself as a working class citizen and therefore portray him in a slightly negative light. Personally, I would use new media outlets to distribute my media product, as these are the most effective in getting my target audience, which is teenagers, to see them due to the increase of internet usage nowadays. Sites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Blogspot can be used to distribute my media to various audience members, specifically teenagers. Although very unlikely due to the short length of my thriller, it could be funded by an independent company like Working Title Films or Warp Films, because it could be described as innovative. From here it can be developed into a feature film and possibly played in a multiplex outlet because it's a mainstream thriller. I don't think it would be aired on television because my thriller conforms to the thriller conventions, making it more likely to be aired in a smaller independent outlet. Overall, however, I'm inclined to stick mainly with the online media outlets, like social networking sites and YouTube, due to the small scale production of my thriller. I believe uploading my thriller to YouTube will gain more views because when someone likes a video on YouTube, it then appears on another person's timeline who is subscribed to that person. So that increases the amount of people viewing my video. In terms of audience, I decided the best target audience for my thriller would be teenagers between 14 and 17 years old. This is because this is the age range of people that took my thriller survey, so I was able to tailor my thriller to their viewing requirements. 58% of participants to my primary audience research were 14 to 17-year-olds. 65% of these were female. So it could be suggested that my thriller is specifically for females aged 14 to 17 because these are the majority of people that took my survey and therefore who I've made the changes for. One of the main changes that I made to my thriller appealing to this particular demographic is having a female victim and a male psycho. This appeals to females because they are able to relate to the character's emotions of panic and fear. Another way that this particular demographic would find my thriller appealing is the editing involves many jump cuts, which is similar to editing that exists in current thriller films now. These jump cuts encourage the younger generation to think and act faster. I believe that the audience for my media product would watch other thriller films such as 127 Hours. This thriller was watched by 48% of cinema goers aged 15 to 24. This suggested to me during my research that this age group prefer more of a gore/suspense thriller, which is why I included these two elements in my own thriller.